This is a conversation I had some time ago. I didn't record it though. Penalties for acting under the color of law are defined by 18 U.S.C. 242 and can include fines and imprisonment of up to 1 year for non-violent violations. Penalties escalate with the severity of the offenses, potentially leading to 10 years of imprisonment, 10 years imprisonment for bodily injury, and up to life imprisonment or death penalty if the acts result in death, kidnapping, or aggravated sexual abuse. In addition to these criminal penalties, offenders may face permanent loss of employment and disqualification from holding public office. Standard penalties: fine and or imprisonment. A person acting under the color of law who willfully deprives another person of their constitutional rights can face fines and imprisonment. For violations that do not involve bodily injury, the penalty can be fine or imprisonment up to 1 year. Aggravated penalties: if a violation results in bodily injury, the penalty can be up to 10 years imprisonment. Aggravating factors: more severe penalties, including life imprisonment or the death penalty, apply if offense involves kidnapping, CPS, or attempt to kidnap, ICE, aggravated sexual abuse or attempt to commit it, an attempt to kill resulting in death, professional consequences, loss of employment. Offenders may be permanently fired from their government positions, disqualification from public office. They may also be disqualified from holding any future public office. Department of Justice, they do this: deprivation of rights under the color of law. You know, some people are glad that the immigrants aren't getting due process, but without even realizing, if they allow the government, the judicial system, abolish this due process, this thing we call due process, for them, they're gonna. It doesn't even work for us. If you've been all through any of my posts. Okay, so remember, penalties for acting under the color of law, in which you see quite. Have you been in court? If you ever need a lawyer, I've been showing people all the mandatories for effective assistance of counsel. And every time they go through it, that's not happening, you know. And thus I told them that they're acting under the color of law, and there are penalties for that. Okay. And in my other video, I told you you're living under the color of law. Well, there are penalties for them acting under the color of law. And since nobody's telling you, it's clearly, you know, they're working together. You know, the powers that be, your public servants, those that took the oath to serve and protect you. All right, sorry, sometimes I sound a little slow, and it's just that I'm in so much pain, and I'm trying not to swear and yell. So, you know, I sometimes I just, but I just feel the need to talk to you about this, okay? Penalties for acting under the color of law. You know, the Constitution, the requirements of due process of the Constitution are not limited to citizens. Okay, due process is not limited to citizens, just citizens. It's required for anybody that's charged of any crime to appear in a court of law if it's on U.S. territory. It's just deprivation of rights. Anyways, you also notice that anybody that puts, I did a video, anybody that puts their loyalty to a politician versus the Constitution, that's illegal. You can't, you took an oath to the Constitution. So you got to fulfill that oath. And willingly, knowingly, and willingly taking any orders, violating that oath, unconstitutional, unlawful orders, knowingly and willingly, that's penalties for acting under the color of law. They can legally refuse. It says no, but a lot of them are just quittings. A lot of them are just getting fired for not showing loyalty to the present administration. I mean, every administration has acted under the color of law, but this one is just, we're going into a full-blown corporacy, and the way we're heading as a country, for the people, we're heading back to the Gilded Age. Rich people called it the Golden Age because there was only two classes of people, the rich and the poor. Look up there. This is not the first coming of the Golden Age, but eventually became called the Gilded Age. If you're into history. But anyways, I talked about Wall Street crashing before other people. I haven't mentioned it to you, the Ponzi scheme that caused the crash, the Wall Street crash, it gave us the Great Depression, But that enabled the very rich to buy up everything dirt cheap, and if it wasn't for FDR and the New Deal, things would have stayed that way. And Wall Street conspired with politicians to overthrow FDR. Because they didn't like his policies, Social Security, taxing the rich, unions. That was pro-union era. Granted, there was still a lot of racism, systemic racism in society back in those days. FDR and his wife tried to move away from that. Remember, desegregation started during the World War II era. And it started with the military. Okay, just wanted to review that with you, a quick short one. I was sitting here in pain and folding laundry, and I needed something to make me feel good, so I just thought I'd share with you what's been on my mind for so long. Thank God that my old ass learned how to use a computer and the internet and, with technology, with the iPhones and such. I could talk to you about so much I read about. Books were my best friends growing up. Didn't have a whole lot of that. But when you read, especially at a young age, where the mind takes you, it took me everywhere, especially when it came to the law. All right, number peace and love, people. May your Creator always be with you and rain many blessings. I wish you a long life and good health.